back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that you decided to watch on today. You decided to listen. You decided to share. You decided to subscribe. I'm so excited about it. And I'm so happy to be doing live with you. And we're going on this journey together. So that's what it's all about, people. It's going on the journey together with one another, learning, growing, expanding, setting our heights high and all that wonderful good stuff, right? Because we were never meant to do life alone. And when you get in the Soup Bowl, things do get messy. Okay, things do get messy. So thank you so much. Hey, today I want to say thank you to everyone that came out and supported me. And if you weren't able to come out, but you sent your love through, text messages or even through social media, giving me great warm wishes for my book signing. I am so happy that you all just supported me in those ways. What I am going to ask you is if you would please give me a review, right? So we need those reviews coming in. So those that do not know me, but they know you and they trust you, and not only that, but they may not know you, right? But they trust the reviews of other people in regards do I need to get this book? Is it important? Is it going to change my life? Is it going to change anyone else's life? Is it going to give me some insight? That's what people are looking for. And so if you are enjoying what it is that you read or are reading, I would ask that you go on to Amazon or even go into Barnes and Nobles. Yes, Barnes and Nobles. I'm in Barnes and Nobles now. And that you can just write a review about how great the book is, right? So, yes, how great it is. And so I actually ran into someone. This is exciting, right? And I was like, yes. So I ran into someone and they were like, I started to read your book and I realized very quickly that you want us to do work. And I was like, yes, they get it. And I just thought it was so funny to me, right, that they would say that, right, that, oh wow, I thought I was just going to be reading a book, but actually you want us to do some work. And I was like, yes, I want you to do some work because that's what it's all about. That's the whole ideal, is that we are not leaders overnight. We do not become these great, transformational leaders. We don't become good servant leaders. We don't become good, authentic, transparent leaders without intentionality and without doing some work, without looking at how we're doing things right now and how possibly we can shift some things, right? Gandhi did not become Gandhi overnight. Martin Luther King Jr. did not become Martin Luther King Jr. overnight. Mother Teresa didn't become, right? These people did not come. John Maxwell, right? Did not become these great individuals, and not only that, but make history by not being intentional in doing work. And so that's what it's all about. So when my daughter says, you're always trying to make everything a lesson, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because life's a lesson. Life is a lesson, people. And once we realize that, we're going to be okay. And you're going to realize, oh man, I'm going to have to discipline myself. Yes, you are. That's the other part of it. Discipline. So when you want to go play that game, whatever that game may be, right? Whether it's video games, right? The game on your phone, right? The game of life, a sport or whatever. How do you get good at it? By continuously doing it. That's how you get good at it. And being intentional about it too at the same time. So there you go. Yeah, so there's work to be done, people. It's not just a 5-minute read and then it's like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. Okay, just, I was reminded of some things and okay, I might see some new things. But no, exactly. It is for you to do work. Work, people. On the complete self. On the complete person. It's for you to do work. Okay. But anyway, so go get that book, right? It is on Amazon. It is on Barnes and Nobles, okay? Leadership Evolution. Why is it called Leadership Evolution? Because we must evolve. We must evolve as we are going through life, right? And so what are we doing as we're going through life? We are navigating challenges. We are navigating challenges. And at the same time, we're inspiring growth within ourselves and growth within those around us, because we teach people how to treat us. That's one thing I'm trying to get my daughter to understand. We teach people how to treat us. So yes. So today, what are we going to get into today? That wasn't the topic, but again, my allergies, so sorry about that, folks. But I want to talk about us putting on limitations, because limitations, right, are really self-imposed. They're really self-imposed. Now, I'm not talking about like when you were younger, right, and maybe you had the parent or the guardian that put up the safety gates, right, and you were only allowed to go within those perimeters, right? Or when you were younger and right, you transporting yourself to school, right? There was perimeters that was put in place. Well, now that you're an adult, right? What are those things that's been put in place? Are they self-imposed, or are they, imposed by other people? Now, I'm going to say this, right? Because we're like, well, no, everything is not self-imposed. Like if you are incarcerated, right? More than likely it's self-imposed. You're incarcerated because of a decision that you made. Now, there are people that are incarcerated right now that they are innocent, right? So that's another story, but I'm just talking about, is it a decision that you made to put you in the place in where you are at? It's self-imposed. Where you currently are right now in your life, and you want to get somewhere else, you feel like you should be somewhere else, you feel like your opportunities are not coming and other people are getting opportunities and they're passing you by, or why didn't that happen to me? Are they self-imposed? Just think about that for a moment. Are they self-imposed, or is it because someone decided to put you there? We are not in an age where we live in slavery. And so it is self-imposed. I know that is a hard pill to swallow for some of us, but really it is self-imposed. Limitations are self-imposed. So there was an individual that was talking about that they were going to retire and they just couldn't do it because A, B, C, D, and E. Because they was just, they were just making all, and because I say they were excuses. And then there was another individual was like, well, no, you can. No, I can't but no, you can. But no, you can. Do you want to retire? Yes, you can. Do you no longer want to be at that job? Yes, you can. Do you want to move across the world? Yes, you can. Do you want to get out of that apartment and then go buy a home? Yes, you can. Do you want to, sell that home and go live in a tiny house or go live in a mobile or a RV? Yes, you can. Do you want to start your own business? Yes, you can. You can. It's all about our perspective and how we see things. Is it going to take work? Yes, it is. Is it going to take a decision? Yes, it is. Is it going to take you to come out of comfortability? Yes, it is. You see all those yeses in there versus the no, I can't? You can. You can work your way towards, okay, I have to do this. Can you just pick up today and be like, I'm going to sell my home and then you're gone tomorrow? I don't know. Is it possible? It could be. It could be possible. But there's going to have to be work that has to be done. You're going to get a realtor, right? You're not going to do it yourself. You got to make the listing, right? You got to put some pictures out there, right? You might have to do some upscaling a bit here and there, depending how, the upkeep of your home is. So there's going to be work to be done for you to sell your home. So anything that we want to do in life Is it possible? Yes. Is it going to take you for you to come out of your own self and your own way of thinking to get there? Yes. You have to be willing to get out of your own way. Really what it is, we have to be willing to get out of our own way. I was in a situation some years ago where I was not looking right for this particular job. I wasn't even looking to go in the area. Actually, I was looking to volunteer because I wanted to get another skill set that I felt like I needed for something else. And so I was willing to volunteer. On the other hand, the people that see my resume is like, I think you'll work great over here. How about I'm going to pass on your resume over here, and then boom, I end up in this job, right? And so I asked my bestie about it. Hey, should I take it? I'm not really. And they were like, yeah, go for it. Yeah, you should, or whatever. And so I take the job. I'm in this job. But in this job, there were limitations. There were limitations on the time period in which I could work and then, of course, get paid. And so after a while, I said, oh, hold up a second. This is not where I want it to be. This is not what I was looking for. This is not what I was hoping for. It's not. I've done this before. I am over this. I am past this. Not saying that I was too good, because I wasn't, because I did the job. But I said I was past this. Because I believe that when you're going on your life's journey, right, there are things that you must go through and process through to get to certain places. And I said, oh, I feel like I'm going backwards because it's taken away from home life. It's taken away from me being there in a certain proximity in which my child at the time was younger. And I was like, this don't line up. This doesn't line up. And so after a year, I put in my resignation letter. And those that knew that I did it, right, because when I gave it to my supervisor, of course, it, went about the business unit. And people were, I heard you put in a resignation letter. Are you serious? Why would you do that? You can do this and that. You can work your way up and this and that. Like, no one does that. Oh, I do. I do that. I do that. So there is someone, and that someone just happens to be me. And why is it that I'm doing this? Because I have made it past this point where I knew that this no longer worked for me, worked for my family, right? Not that they were like, oh my gosh, you're never at home or whatever. But it just wasn't conducive to what I knew that we needed. And where I believed that I belonged. That is more than this. This is too many limitations. I've done this before. I've done this before. And I'm not doing this now. And I'm choosing not to do this. So I'm putting in my resignation. Why? Was the job going to change and let me have the flexibility that I needed? Was it going to let me work from home at times when I needed to? Did I always have to put in leave anytime I have a doctor's appointment or my child has a doctor's appointment? No. That was not going to change. Nor was I trying to force it to be changed. I decided to put in a resignation letter because I was allowing myself to be limited to what I know, I believed, and what I needed at that time. And I was nice about it. I didn't give 14 days notice. I gave 30 days. See, I'm just nice like that. So I gave the 30-day notice. And within this 30 days, I am being approached and trying to be convinced not to leave. Then all of a sudden, right, another opportunity appears. Oh, this and that, whatever. We'll do this for you and this and that, whatever. I thought about it for a moment, and it was a moment. And the reason why it was a moment is because, again, limitations. Oh, no. This does not go into what I believe is for me. It does not help in my situation, right? No, it doesn't. It's just another distraction, another blocking of where I know that I need to be at to move along in my life's journey. So I said no. What? Why would you do that? And I stood my ground, knowing that they didn't understand. They didn't understand how I was moving. And you don't have to understand how someone else is moving because you're not moving. I'm not affecting you. You still getting paid. You still doing, you ain't got to understand what I'm doing. So I don't really need your approval to make my moves. I don't need your approval to make my moves. You don't have enough real estate over here for me to care about how I'm moving. You just don't. So anyway, during this process, I think maybe in the last week, another opportunity presented itself, which was actually a position or whatever. And guess what? There was flexibility. Flexibility out the wazoo. Flexibility. And not only that, it was in a place that I love talking about. Training and leadership. Come on now. Come on. When you stand your ground, when you know what is for you, when you know that this time of doing whatever it is that you're doing is up. You have to know when it's up. Don't let them tell you when it's up. You have to know when it's up. And when you know that it's up, make sure you leave in a good way, right? But you exit and you exit quickly and be on your way. So, I mean, in doing that, I began to, upscale and, get back into the routine of training again. Right. And so then when I would begin to speak, or it was like, oh, like you used to, yeah, because this is where I came from. This is where I came from. This is a passion of mine. Right. And so I was able to do something that I enjoyed doing, learn right from other people, and then have that flexibility as well. Because I knew it was. So I'm saying that when you don't leave and you allow, right, that environment to dictate how you're moving, you've put the limits on yourself. You've done that. And if it becomes a financial issue, then again, you put the limits on yourself again, because why? You didn't discipline yourself to do what you needed to do to make sure that you would be able to make that move. And sometimes maybe it's not the finance thing, or, it could be so much the finance thing, but sometimes you just got to step out on faith as well. When you know that you know. When you know that you know that you know that it's time to go and it's time to make some changes, then you just know. Some people say, oh, the money looking funny, and then you don't know what to do. And that could be the case. The money might be looking funny. But I just believe that when you know your purpose and you know the assignment that you're on, and you know that something is just not right, I'm missing something. There's something else that I'm supposed to be doing. There's something else that I'm supposed to be involved in, and it's not happening here. And I feel like I can't just stretch out. You ever been in a place where you can't stretch out, right? Like you just can't, like you're like this, your arms is like this, or you're like this, and you just can't move. Those bus rides sometimes where it's so packed and you're like, oh my gosh, you're just tight or whatever, and then you might get in a space and you just want to relax, right? That's why sometimes like people don't want to be in the back seat all the time. You call a shotgun because you don't want to be in the back seat, because if you're in the back seat, you know that you might have 2 or 3 other people sitting next to you and you're sitting like this. But if you're in the front seat and then you're able to do a little something, lean up on the wall, do a little something else. when you're in the front seat of your life. Come on, let's just talk about that analogy right quick. If you're in the back seat, right, you're limited to how you can move because you are sandwiched in between, right, other people. Or you need someone else to open your door from the outside because they got the safety locks on. But if I'm in the front seat of my life, I'm able to see. If I'm in the back seat, I gotta peek around. I gotta see what's going on. I gotta lean forward, and the person in the back, like, get back there. There's always somebody in the front. There's always somebody in the front that's trying to push you back into the position that they believe that you need to be in. Get from out the front seat is what they're telling you. Sit back and get back into your place. But if I'm in the front seat, ain't nobody trying to push me back because one, I'm either driving or I'm riding. And you're not about to try to put me in the back seat when I'm already in front seat and we're already rolling. No, I'm able to see where I'm going. I'm able to make decisions for myself of what's coming ahead and what direction I need to turn. I'm not depending on the person to tell me where I need to go. Okay. I'm going to clap for myself. But this is what I mean by allowing limitations to be set on yourself. They are self-imposed. Limitations are self-imposed. It is up to you whether you stay there or not. Even if I'm in a relationship, it is up to me whether I stay in that relationship or not. Do I deserve this or do I deserve better? Am I settling for this? Am I allowing this person to treat me like this? Yes, you are if you stay. Because again, we teach people how to treat us. If I ignore you and you keep coming back, then I know it's okay to ignore you. If I'm texting you and you never respond only to two or 3 days later, and then I respond back to you and I'm still engaging with you, then guess what? Every time I'm engaging with you, I know it's okay. I don't have to get back with that person right away because they don't respond. But if I don't respond and I just keep moving, whether you with me or not, guess what? They're like, oh snap, they just went ahead. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Why? Because I wanted to go. And so I didn't hear from you, so I just kept going. I'm not sitting there waiting on you. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. If I'm allowing a person to continuously hit me and I stay, then I'm letting them know it's okay for you to do this to me. I don't like it, but I'm still letting you know that it's okay. I was in a relationship and it did get to the point where it became physical. And I loved this person. I really did. I loved this person. And of course, I was young, but I loved this person, right? And I saw issues, right, with this individual. And I was like, I can help them. I can help them. Like, I can be there for them. Like, they've had a rough life. Like, I had a rough life too, but their life is worse. Like, my mother wasn't on drugs. Their mother was on drugs, and their aunt had raised them. They have a sister. The sister currently is just strung out on drugs. She has twins, and they're just trying to be there for them, and blase, blase. And I could just see that this person was just hurt, by the whole situation, and wanting that longing for the love of a mother, right? The love of a mother. And I was just like, I can be there for that person. Wrong, right? Yes, you can be there for someone. That doesn't mean that I have to lose myself, right? My self-worth into being there for someone or whatever. Or if they're just so, they're so messed up to the point where they need help, then you need to get out. Even if it's not physical, emotional, right, abuse, but you just realize like, yo, you need some work. Like, you need some soul work on you. You need to get out of that, right? Because they're not going to change overnight. And as they're going through, what they're going through, you could be collateral damage, over time. So anyway, that relationship literally did turn into like a physical abuse. And the thing about it is that if I would not have like left, like actually moved away out of that place, then I'm thinking I probably would have, right? I'm thinking, I always think about this situation a lot. I probably would have, stayed in it a little bit longer than what I should have, and maybe wait around for like round 2. Because even when I was like, yeah, no, it's over, right? No, it's over, right? And before I left, I still, talked to the individual. I left or whatever, and I still had some communication, with that individual. Saw them again one time, and then after that, I was like, I can't do this, because every time, like, I'm around this person, I'm a little jumpy. I'm a little nervous, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna pop off, right? At any moment, because that's the way it was, right? And then I had to think about it. Oh snap! They were doing stuff before it became physical, right? I played back the things that they used to say and things like that, and I'm like, oh snap! And then I realized this person is so hurt that they just are angry, right? And they're not angry at me. They're angry at their situation. They're angry that they feel like they weren't good enough or whatever. I have nothing to do with that, right? But at the end of the day, it was a choice whether I stayed or whether I left. It was a choice whether I stayed in contact, I didn't stay in contact. It was a choice. It's all choices. These things are all choices. I was not tied up. I was not kidnapped, right? And so they're choices. And so I'm saying you can make a move. You can make a move. If you want to retire, you can make a move. If you just want to leave that job, you can make a move. If you want to start your own business, you can make a move. But there's going to be work that needs to be done. It's just not, I'm going to wake up and bam, it just happens. No, the question is, are you ready to do the work? And one, are you ready to move away from that and really define yourself? Because sometimes we stay on something so long that we have really identified with that thing. We have identified with that position. We have identified with that role, and we don't know who we are without it. And I really believe that that's really what it is. I really believe that us as human beings, that we're so afraid to leave something that we don't know who we are outside of that. We don't know who we are outside of that relationship. We don't know who we are outside of that position. But I'm coming to tell you today that when you remove yourself from the situation, that is when you truly begin to define and find your true self. You have to ask yourself, can I sit here and talk to myself and have dinner with myself? If I can't even do that with my own self, why somebody else want to do that with me? I'm just saying. Why somebody else want to do that with me? No, you can't. You have to understand. I'm going to tell you. Free yourself, people. I want you to be free. I want you to be free. I want you to be liberated and living life truly. Not living life from anyone else, but living life truly. Not defined by anything, your children, your spouse, right? Your grandchildren, your boo, your education. These are all self-imposed limitations. Even if you didn't finish school, you didn't get that high school diploma, guess what? You can still make moves. Stop making excuses. When we don't leave something and we're making excuses, but we want to do something, but we haven't did it, it's an excuse of why you're not moving. You didn't get that job? Oh, because they didn't know. What did you do? What did you do? Did you do a call back? Did you keep calling? Did you get your hours that you wanted? Did you talk to the people? Guess what? If you're not getting what you want, then move on. You cannot force feed anything down anybody's throat. That's even in a relationship. I can't force you right? To love me. I can't force you to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, then you definitely are not going to know how to love me. I can't do it. Look, we already out of time. We need to chop this up again. We really do, because I'm telling you, it just does something to me when I hear people make excuses about what they cannot do, and how, you want to go, but you're afraid to go, and you're putting the limitations on yourself. All right, that's it. Until next time. Hey, I love you. There is nothing that you can do, and leading is teachable.